So I started to go to a lot of family caregiving support groups, and they were largely terrible. And I went to a lot of events, and then I found Diversability. And it was the first place I felt remotely seen and accepted for my experience, which I found amazing because I hadn't really been thinking about myself for the last 2.5 years. I wasn't really a person. I was a function. And it was such a relief for me to piece my new self together in this community. And in this community, I started talking about some of the goals and dreams I had. And one of them was to be less embarrassed and be less ashamed about the fear and the sadness I felt around what had happened to my mother and how my father and I were dealing with it. I just couldn't piece together happiness yet. And in this community, I was allowed to just be myself. In the Diversability community, where I've met entrepreneurial friends like Quentin, soul friends like Priya and Tiffany, real life friends now like Sean and Emily, Christopher, a number of other people, everybody understands exactly what I'm talking about, because what I'm talking about is accessibility. Here, I'm trying to access myself as my mother's new daughter, as my mother is my new mother. And my father is sort of, his whole life he's sort of been like, well, so what are you going to do, because you're not a lawyer or a surgeon. And now I finally feel that my father sees me in a way that he might have been waiting a very, very long time, to sort of lay his eyes upon something and recognize. And I'm pretty certain I wouldn't have done that without this community. So I found you through Eventbrite. People look into Eventbrite, right? And I think I went to your second event, and that's when Quentin, a colleague of ours in the community who now lives on the West Coast, was doing one of these lightning talks. And he got up and started talking about his child, Stellan, who has requirements and works with a number of therapists, private and federal, and, how Quentin was having a really difficult time organizing that care and then creating a space for those care providers to communicate with each other and capitalize on knowledge sharing and communion. Like, let's be homies in this because we're in this together. So he built the thing that I built for my mom and her care providers. But I did this in Frederick, Maryland when I was living with my parents, and he did this in Brooklyn with his wife. And it was amazing to me that I met Quentin. But here's where it gets really much more amazing. Just about 3 weeks ago, the three of us, or maybe 4 weeks ago, had lunch. Priya is holding the lovely yellow phone. And she has had, I'm going to speak as I remember this, her very own profound experience being a primary caregiver for one of her parents, and then a primary caregiver who's geographically removed from that caregiving locus, like where I am. And essentially, if there was a continuum, Priya has graced my future with her story. But what I'm saying is that it's amazing. Like, how weird is that? The technology that I'm working on, I find in this group, the first time I meet the group, and the NPR stuff I'm working on, I find this incredible story, which is also my story, in this group, in this giant city. So I think that it is really this issue that we are largely invisible to each other. Our individual experiences, we live them so individually, it's very difficult to find diversity, plurality, and acceptance, right? And I think that Diversability is a question, frankly, and a movement that should happen in every city and every town for everyone to figure out how we fit in through this lens. I mean, I sort of think this is the future lens. We are all connected in this one place.